1 year ago, retail sales began their steady decline as record gasoline prices hit U.S. consumers. Now, while we reported a 1% decline for department stores last June, department store sales this June fell 9.4% to $15 billion. Retail intertrade sales fell 10% in June, reflecting continued inventory reduction underway. Our industry certainly tried to remain optimistic during the JCK Vegas show, but Diamond statistics for show month revealed just how weak trading really was, with a drop of 46%. Polished imports to the U.S. for May 2009 were the weakest by value since 2003. It was also the first JCK show month in which polished imports actually fell year over year since 2001. A broader look at the U.S. stats, though, indicate the U.S. market remains very depressed. The average price per carat for polished imports for the first 5 months of 2009 was down 22% to $11.81 per carat, but the number of carats and the total value of polished goods imported show steeper drops. First off, imported polished carats to the U.S. have not shown a year-on-year improvement since December 2007. But they really took a dive beginning in October 2008, as you can see from the chart. In terms of total monthly polished imports by value, these figures undoubtedly reflect that 22% drop in price per carat, but they also demonstrate that drop in total import demand. For the past 5 months, we've been at roughly 50% of 2008 imports, and you can also clearly see when this began with a sudden jolt after September, when polished imports took this dramatic slide. Even with a traditional JCK show spike this year, imports from April to May were not even enough to bring those substantial percentage declines up much from 50%. But these figures are only telling half the story. Polished exports have also been volatile, and if you recall, way back in the second quarter of 2007, the U.S. polished export market began to soar right after the JCK Vegas show that year. And in June 2007, exports breached $1 billion for the very first time. 1 year later, again, right after JCK, we hit a record export figure of almost $2 billion in polished goods, and it marked also the very first time that the U.S. exported more polished goods by value than we had imported for the month. This past May's net polished imports of $590 million looks almost rosy when compared with the past 10 months. But with these percentage drops steadfast, we can't declare any kind of stability just yet until we look at June's figures. They are released next month. At that time, we'll see whether or not another post-JCK plunge turns our net imports negative. Alrosa President Sergei Vybornov was dismissed on Monday and immediately replaced by Fyodor Andreev, who had served as Vice President of Finance for Russian Railways. Unconfirmed reports suggested that the Kremlin, which owns 50% plus one share of Alrosa, was dissatisfied with Sergei's handling of the market downturn. Alrosa last held a tender for Rough in September and then embarked upon a select client strategy for future sales. Alrosa's former chief had also tried positioning the #2 diamond firm as an industry strategist. Here is a look at how precious metals held up this week. For all the latest industry news, be sure to visit diamonds.net.